When should a writer give up on a screenplay? That is such a good question, because I'm not sure you should ever give up on a screenplay, but at the same time, there's the point where you should shelve it for a while until you figure out what's wrong with it. And I have a bunch of scripts that in fact, the spec script that I'm working on now is a script that got shelved because I couldn't figure it out. And it wasn't working, and I put it on the shelf and went on to do other things. I do this thing called cross-training, because when I'm not writing one thing, I'm writing something else. So often, if I take the screenplay that I can't figure out the answers to, put it on the shelf, and write some other things, I will then learn something that helps me solve the problems with that screenplay. And so it's like I have scripts that have been on the shelf forever because I still haven't figured it out. Other scripts that go on the shelf, I write a couple of scripts and I figure out what the problem is. But giving up on a screenplay, I don't know, to me, there's always something of me in every screenplay. So it's do I want to give up on my arm? No, it's like, it's still my arm. I want to go back and figure out what's going on with my arm and make it work again. This gets to Roman Polanski's The Tenet. What right does my head have to call itself me? But yeah, I don't think you should ever give up on a screenplay. You should shelve it though for a while and go on to something else. I think too often people don't put their script aside, and so what they're doing is they don't know the solution to the problem, and they often just make it worse by rewriting and rewriting without knowing how to get out of it, not knowing the solution to the problem. Where if you put it aside, it allows you fresh eyes, your mind goes off. If you're trying to remember a line to some movie, the best way to remember it is try not to remember it. So, trivia. So if you're trying to figure out the solution to a screenplay problem, the best thing to do is not try to figure out how to solve it, but go on to something else, and then you'll figure out the solution sometime. And the script I'm working on right now was a script that was originally designed as a movie for Orion Pictures. I had a producer who had a deal with Orion Pictures. I had this script that I pitched that he said would go to treatment, went to treatment on the script, and then Orion Pictures went bankrupt, the story of my life. And the script now, the producer said, well, we can't do it for that budget, but we can do it on a smaller budget. So now take this script that was a big script and turn it into a small script, and it didn't work that way. So the film never got made. I bought the rights back, and it's been sitting on my shelf as I've been waiting to figure out how to turn it now, in today's world, into a movie that's the bigger budget version. And it's like a North by Northwest chase movie, which at some point in time got shrunk down to no chase. And it just did not work. But that, trying to figure out the solution to that problem took me a while. So it took me a decade of not thinking about it. Other scripts, I have a script about a reincarnated girl, a 12-year-old girl who was a murder victim in her past life, and then she suddenly her past life bleeds through. She's going to track down the killer, and the problem was there was only one suspect in the script, and it's like, so movie over. She finds the guy, she kills him, and that wouldn't work. So I came up with other suspects that didn't work, and that went back on the shelf until I figured out one of the characters from her past life would grow older. And as the older character could become a suspect now, and then we would reveal that the reason why he's hanging around her and in her current version of her, that's a little girl, is because he can sense that it's this person he knew before. And I thought that could be a real creepy twist thing, but before it was just suspect number 27 that I made up. But by finding that, by putting it on the shelf and coming up with that, it became a much better script and a deeper script, and it goes into maybe how can we sense other people from our past lives, It's kind of a cool idea.
That's fascinating.